Or before we get into your memories of music, do you have a musical family in your
My
lineage?
great grandfather played piano for like 50 years or something like that. He played in the church, and I didn't really go to church very much, but like he would always like come over to the house and play piano and stuff. And he was like really good at piano, so that was kind of like an inspiration for me.
And would you say like that was your earliest memory of music, recorded or otherwise?
Probably my earliest memory of music, to be honest, probably like when I was in like 4th grade or something. I remember that there was this group called like Eiffel 65, and there's that song called I'm Blue. And then there's like, I actually liked that, and I liked like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff. I don't know why, I just liked the sound of it back then. I don't really like it as much now after like I've gotten into like rap and stuff. But like back then it was like that, and then I got into like rock and like punk rock and stuff.
Now, how old were you when all this was going down?
I got into punk rock and stuff probably like 6th or 7th grade, and then got into hip hop like shortly after. I think like my first hip hop album was like Ludacris, Word of Mouth.
And you're in your mid-20s now, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think was the first thing that compelled you to pursue music? Was it the lyrics? Was it the melody? Or was it writing? Or was it composing?
I think it was like writing first on like the actually like creating song side of things. Cause like I had like played instruments and stuff growing up, but I didn't really like think about making beats or anything. And then once I met Russ, then like I was actually like getting on beats and stuff and recording. That was like the first time that I had been, and we were recording on a Rock Band mic that was ran through like a preamp, and then ran into or not a preamp, but a guitar amp, ran through like a Mac, like iMac, and we were recording in like GarageBand.
DIY.
Yeah, and the beats weren't very good back then, but we were just all just like psyched to hear our voice and record and stuff. This was like, Russ wasn't even recording yet.
So how did you guys meet?
We all met at high school.
And from day one, it was like y'all were all on the same chemistry, same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Diamond come to be? What's Diamond?
Do it everyday music or nothing.
And that's something is that your situation? Are you signed to Diamond?
No, it's just like a family, really. Just like a musical family and a bunch of friends, a bunch of people who grew up together.
And what was the moment where you felt like you could, progress from recording on those Rock Band mics to stuff like pursuing your own solo career under Dartlin?
I think.
And who gave you that name, Dartlin?
Well, that's my middle name, but actually they're like before I've been recording under the name Casper, and then and that was like my nickname when I was in military school, but I stopped using that name. I remember like one day Russ and Boogus asked me, "What's your middle name?" And I said Dartlin, and they were like, "Oh shit, that's a crazy middle name. You should use that for your rap name." So I started calling that.
Earlier today, Russ was like, "Yo, what's up, Samaj?" He called you by James backwards. Like, how comfortable or how real is that chemistry when you're working with a company like Diamond as an individual artist?
It's real. Like anytime we're like any of us are in the studio together or anything, we can like play a song and be like, "Yo, what do you think of this?" And be like, I'll be like, "Oh, I think you could do this, or you could do that, or that mix sounds a little fucked up, or some shit like that." Everybody's like keeps it real with each other.
What parallels do you see between the recorded music industry that you've come to know and the major label touring industry that you've seen like before your own eyes?
I think there's a lot of like maybe like with the whole like between the two, like there's a lot of artists that maybe look a lot bigger than their like touring situation is and stuff like that. You know, because of social media and stuff, there can be a lot of like people that are a lot more popping online than necessarily like what their fan base is.
True.
And that might be because of like going viral and not having a very big catalog prior to going viral, or like various different reasons.
Do you remember back to the name Dartlin for a second, when you made that transition from recording under Casper to Dartlin, do you remember the first song you recorded under Dartlin?
I think it was called like Hollywood Sunset or something. It was like one of the songs on the Dartlin album. On the album that Russ had produced.
Fast forward to 2018, your new single By the Way, which came out on January 11th, 2018. What is the number one thing you've learned about producing?
I think probably less is more. Like usually like the best beats only have like 2 or 3 sounds or something, and then it's mostly just drums. So I think that and making those couple sounds that you choose really be like interesting, and like trying to do something that might be like familiar that people can vibe with, but also flip it a little bit and give it like your own personal touch.
Who are your top 5 producers of all time?
Top 5, probably Scott Storch, Dr. Dre, Timbaland, Boy Wonder, gotta think. Maybe that's a tough one. Maybe Kanye. Did I say Kanye?
You didn't know. I was waiting for that. This being so entrenched in rap, like what is the non-rap or non-hip hop musical inspiration that strikes you these days? Are you listening to a variety of genres?
To be honest, like lately I haven't been listening to a whole lot. Like lately I kind of listen to music in a weird way sometimes, and I'll listen to like 2 different songs or something. Like I've been listening to like Rich Homie Quan Changed, and then Young Thug Killed Before. And those are like the only, aside from that, like when I'm in the car I'll be like listening to like unreleased songs I have, trying to like get the mix better. Or I'll be listening to like a new beat, like on the way to like the studio or something, trying to come up with like a new idea or something.
Before we linked up tonight, we were talking about your output last year, and you told me you had put out 428 beats or songs.
Yeah, 428 beats.
428 beats produced.
Like 140 something songs or something crazy.
What's your recording schedule usually like? Are you recording every single day, I guess? That's what that means, because you recorded more than there are days in the year.
Pretty much any time that I either like have inspiration to make a beat, or whenever I have a beat that I like, I usually would just try to come up with something. And unless I'm like stumped or something,
Have you recorded music on the road when you guys are out touring?
Nah.
Has anyone
just made beats
on the road?
I know Russ has recorded some like in hotels and stuff. I don't know how many of them have like become like the full song there, or if he like re-recorded it or whatever. Because usually on the road everything's just like real fast and hectic, and it's kind of hard to think, especially like situation like on the bus or something like that. That's like the hardest place to try to record.
What's the crazy story you can share from going on tour and seeing the world through music?
I don't know. I remember when we went to Dubai earlier in the year. I remember I got really drunk and walked into the ocean with like 3 people's phones in my pocket. like 2 of my friends who were there with us had asked me to hold their phone, and I walked into the ocean with everybody's phone.
In Dubai.
Yeah.
Well, there's worse things you can do in Dubai than that, right?
Yeah.
How was Red Rocks?
It was awesome. That like the views and stuff were like pretty crazy. Like, the view, like just like the natural beauty, I guess, of like the mountains and stuff like that, and even like the Red Rocks amphitheater, like the size of that place is just like mind blowing.
What's your favorite thing about the music industry today in 2018?
I think just the ability to really just express yourself and do what you want to do, and then there's like the internet. I feel like makes it like there's more capabilities than ever before to be able to like get yourself out there and build a fan base for yourself and just be yourself and everything. Yeah.
You posted on Instagram today that on your story that someone had messaged you asking for the Dartlin logo, since they already had the diamond logo tatted on them. Can you tell me what it was like making that Dartlin logo and why that logo in particular, why that design, the pink heart with the arrow through it?
I think just was actually like a little like it's like an angel or something with I think the like the wings on it were inspired by this tattoo. That
Can you show this tattoo and explain it?
Yeah. Well, this was just the first. I'm not even really particularly religious, but this was like the first tattoo that I got when I was 18. And it was, I guess, just an excuse to get a tattoo. But then
And this other one right here, the mic.
And then I got a keyboard, like, I think when I was like 20 or something like that. And those probably, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I see them pretty much every day, so they're kind of like a reminder of what I chose to do with my life.
Why do you think people are hating on people who aren't mumble rappers in 2018? Notably Russ, notably Diamond, the whole wave of commercially successful rappers who aren't mumble rappers.
I don't know. I think it's just everybody has different preferences and tastes and stuff, and especially like if people are outspoken or have an opinion that maybe other people don't agree with, they're gonna say something back about it, I guess, because on the internet everybody has a voice.
What does being in Atlanta do for your career as a recording artist? How has it helped you specifically?
I think it's probably helped me more as a producer than the artist. Cause
why is that?
There's just so many artists out here, and there's people that might be looking to get help like on mixing, or even like people like there's been times like in the past couple of years where I've like had people like pay me to teach them how to like use Logic or like how to make beats or like stuff like that. So there's always like Atlanta's kind of like a music hub, I guess.
As a producer, why differentiate between produced by Dartlin and Hood Rat Beats? What's the difference between the two, and how'd you come up with the latter?
I guess the Hood Rat Beats thing started when I wanted to start like selling beats online and like posting them and stuff, because I didn't want to post them on the same page that my songs were on, because I didn't want to like confuse the two with people like, oh, he's an artist or he's a producer or whatever. But the funny thing with that is I like the people when I produce for them to put produced by Dartlin, because it's like that kind of attracts attention to some of my songs and stuff too. And also I feel like that name's bigger than the other one, but also having the Hood Rap Beats name, I feel like is like digital real estate too at the same time. Like, it's hard to find like Instagram names that don't have like a bunch of numbers and like underscores and you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like I'm glad I got both of the names. But the Hood Rap Beats, that name came from that. Have you ever seen that Letary and Milton kid that's like, I like to do hood rat things with my friends?
Yeah.
That's where that came from.
Oh. How influenced are you by internet culture in general? Are you on the internet a lot?
Not really.
No.
No, I'm kind of like out of the loop, to be honest, a little bit, because I'll just be like making a lot of music all the time. But
what's the longest amount of time you spent in the studio on one song?
I couldn't say for how long on one song, but maybe like, and like how long in like a studio session or something like
Correct.
that. Maybe like 18 hours or something like that.
Shoot. Y'all were the thing with Diamond is that it's not officially signed to Columbia. It is a family of musicians. So what is the next step for Diamond in your eyes?
I think just I think Boogus is going to continue getting bigger, and Boogus is going to blow up. And then I see that probably happening before me, unless I just have some song blow up like crazy out of nowhere. But I see everybody just steadily just growing, getting bigger and everything.
And your song, by the way, that you dropped today on the 11th of January, is this a single for Dartlin 3? Because I know Dartlin 2 came out 2016.
I don't think I'm going to do an album for a while.
Why is that?
I just want to kind of, since I'm like slowing down the pace to one a week, I feel like that'll be like easier to digest than what I was doing last year. And then as it gets bigger, then I'll put together like 10 or 12 of like the best that I've ever done. And, I'll continue to use this until then, kind of like, I don't want to say as a warm-up, but just to keep getting better and stacking up songs and keep improving.
At press time, your singles are culminating into this long list of standalone songs. But if you were to release an album, how soon do you think it would be released? Like when could we expect an album?
Maybe like sometime next year, probably.
And where can we keep up with you on Twitter and social media?
On Twitter, it's at Dartlin _ because some guy took my name.
Oh no!
He didn't take the name, but he's had Twitter since like 2012, and he's tweeted like twice. And his last tweet was like in 2013 or something. And Twitter said that I can't do anything about it or something, so I don't know how. I'd literally have to like get in touch with the.
Is that Dartlin _ on everything?
No, that's just on Twitter, but on Instagram it's just at Dartlin. And then those are pretty much the only. And then I have Snapchat too, but mainly Instagram and Twitter are like the ones that I use.
Snapchat's for the hoes.
No.